Okay. You guys ready? Let's have a look. Okay. So we have more prepositions today. Yes? So let's have a look. From, to, until, since, and for. From, to, yeah. From in this case is like the start, and to is like to the end. For example, when I say, I work at 4 p.m., correct? This is a fixed time. So I always use at. But if I indicate one time, like start, and then another time, finish, yes, I cannot use at because I'm saying start, finish, right? But look at this. If I say, so let me give you an example. If I say this, I start work at 4 p.m. and finish at, no, if I start at 4, how am I going to finish at 2? Okay, so I start work at 4 p.m. and finish, let's say, at 8 p.m. Okay? Here, you can see I have at and at. This is okay because I'm using the and. And remember, the and, it connects two ideas. So this is why I go and I put my verb and say at whatever. Yeah? But if I say another way, I don't want to use start. I don't want to use finish. So I don't want to use the actions or the verbs. So I can say, I work. Yes, so now I go straight to work. I work from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. So you see, this is a shorter way, easier way. Now here, when I say from, this is my start, and the to is the finish. Okay? So start and finish. So am I saying the same thing? Absolutely. Now, when I use from and to, it is always in that context of start, finish. So I can use this for everything, not only for time. I can use also for days. For example, I work from Monday to Friday. But they change. So that is in present. Can I use this in past? Absolutely. I can say, for example, last week I worked from Monday to Saturday. So when I say I work from Monday to Friday all the time, but last week was different. So I say last week I worked. Worked in past tense, not worked. I worked from Monday to Saturday. Yeah, extra day, different. Understand? I can also use, we said, for dates to say, hey, I'm going on holiday from the 10th of May to the 20th. Yes, I can say that. I can also say, I'm traveling from Sydney to Melbourne. Correct? Okay. And I can also use, so you know how sometimes you take a plane when you go international flights? So what happens if you go to different cities? So look at this example. Did you copy that? Yeah. Okay. So I could also say, look at this. If I say, sorry. You can say that. So what are you saying here? That you did different stops. So when you say this, you go, so I go, how did you come to Australia? Oh, well, I traveled from Colombia to Dubai and then to Miami and after to Houston and then to Sydney, Australia. That's how you connect it. You know what I mean? But I could say this. I could say, I traveled from, because you might go, well, I traveled from Colombia to Dubai to Miami to Houston and to Sydney. So you can also say, if you want, but this is longer. I traveled from Colombia to Dubai and after from Dubai to Miami and then from Miami to Houston and then from Houston to Sydney. But that's very long. So you can simplify and you can say two. Because you're saying, I traveled from, this is where you started, and this is where you finished. You were stopping, but you were continuing. So, yeah, you can say that. Good? I know. That's why I said today, come to school. I know you need this. Okay? It's good? Can I erase? You want to copy that?
I know.
Yeah. So when I say that you can use from and to, you can use that with everything, not just the time. Dates, days, years, places. And if you think about it, usually, correct, when you ask somebody, you go, where are you from? And you go, oh, I'm from. And then you go, oh, when did you come to? So you say, because you're here now, and this is where your trip finished. Yeah? Okay, good. Let's continue. And as I mentioned, you can use from and to in present, past, or future. Yeah, essential. Okay, good. So look at our examples. We lived in Japan from 2003 to 2010. Remember, the double-digit years, always 2 and 2. I work from Monday to Friday. Now, another way that we can say to, correct, is using until. So here you can also say, you see, it says until. And what is until? To. You can also say till, and you can also say till. So a lot of people say, I work from Monday till Friday. I work from Monday until Friday. I work from 6 a.m. until 2 p.m. Is until common? Yeah, but I think to is more common. Now, let's see if we ask a question. Very common question. So let's say, for example, I say, what time do you finish work? And here you can add whatever. You can say, for example, today, tonight, this afternoon, this evening, whatever you want. Okay? So I'm going to say, what time do you finish work today?
I finish work until 3.
So wait a minute. 3? Okay. So you could say, if you want, what time do you finish work today? Well, at 3 o'clock. Sorry. At 3 p.m. Correct? These are short answers. You're just responding to the question. To say, what time do you finish work? Oh, at 3. At 3 p.m. At 3 o'clock. Yeah? Very casual, short answer. Now, you can also say, if you want the complete form, you can say, oh, I work to 3 p.m. I work until 3 p.m. This is your complete answer. And as you said, Andre, you could also say, I finish, but now if you say I finish, you would say at, correct? So as you can see, we have many different ways. There's no one answer. You have many different ways, correct? Okay. Now, let's change the question a little bit. Yeah? I can erase, correct? And this is a very, very common question. So when we say, what time do you finish? That is a very basic question, a basic way to ask somebody. Yeah? So what could be a higher way? Or what could be like, a more, let's say, native English way of asking that same question? So look at this. Until. Wow. I've got the preposition at the beginning. And so I'm going to say, until what time are you working tonight? So it's the same answer. You're asking the same thing. But this is more difficult because a lot of people don't know how to build with the preposition at the beginning. Very common for us. So if you ask me, like It's common to say, hey, what time are you finishing tonight? What time do you finish work? Right? So here, for example, I've used the preposition of meaning, and so I go, until what time are you working? This here is actually kind of like the question. Until what time is the same as when do you finish? Yeah? And as you said, the answer is exactly the same. Oh, at 3. I finish at 3. I'm finishing at 3, as in the plan, right, for the future. And here, you could also say, until what time do you work, right? And that is simple because we're using the do. So until what time do you work? Oh, and you could say, I always finish at 3. Or at 3. Like I work every day and I finish at 3. At 3. The answer is still the same. Okay? So just to give you 2 different views. Any questions? No? It's good. Okay, let's continue.
Can I say I can finish until 3?
No, but you can say, I can work until 3. Because let's give it a little bit more context. Shed, we don't have enough housekeepers. Is it possible for you to stay? Okay, boss, no problem. But I can only stay until 3. Correct? So when you say until, and you could say also, Shed, okay, boss, sure, but by the way, I can only stay till 3, until 3, or to 3. Same thing. Okay? So yeah, that is possible. And as you can say, the from always there has to be a start, and the to always has to be a finish, an end. Always. So in this context, no at, because at is only one time. If you say and, yes, but you saw the structure is different. Okay? And again, you're saying the same thing. Okay? Amazing. Let's continue. So essentially, when we talk about until, yes, it's going to be the finish, the end, the end. And so here, until when? Until Friday, December, 3 o'clock, until I come back. It says they're going away tomorrow. When we say going away, this is the same as in traveling. So instead of saying, oh, I'm traveling tomorrow, you can also say, I'm going away tomorrow. It's the same thing. It says they'll be away, so traveling until Friday. They will come back. And as you can see here, this is future. I went to bed early, but I wasn't tired. So I read a book until 3 o'clock. This morning, a student of mine who usually arrives late, she was early. She arrived before me. And I was like, you're early today. What happened? And I could see her face. And she was like, oh. And I said, what happened? And she said, oh, I was watching TV until 2 o'clock last night. Yeah. So, yeah. So until is when she finished. Look at this one. It says, wait here until I come back. Sometimes if, let's say I'm shopping with other people and they're with the bags or you're with the trolley, and so I go, hey, wait here. I'm just going to go to Coles and I'll be back in a minute. Right? So in this case, here it says, wait here until. So, or sometimes I'm like walking, oh, I got to go to the bathroom. You coming? No. I'll wait here until you come back. Right? Because sometimes they don't want to go. So you go, okay, I'll be back in a minute. Yeah? You can use until. It could be I, you, she, he. What are you doing? Oh, my wife, she went to the bathroom. I'm waiting here until she comes back. Right? So until is always going to be, until they finish. And there you go. It's the end. Question. Can I use to in this context? Could I change to for until in this context? Think about it. Think about it. To. Think about it. Can I use, the question is, can I use to in this context?
No, because I need the from.
Thank you. Yes, no, you cannot use to. Because if you use to, you have to have from. Because remember, from start to finish. You cannot use here.
Wrong question, because I think
I thought.
Yeah. You change the sentence.
Yeah.
And you use to.
Yes.
Because I think
I was thinking. No. Because here you can see only one direction. When I use to, this tells you must use from. So the until, so look what I'm saying. You can use until to replace to, but you can't use to replace until. Yeah? Okay, good. So look at it. Even if you listen, it's wrong. They'll be away to Friday. Huh? But if I say, they'll be away from Monday to Friday. They'll be away from Monday until Friday. This makes sense. Yeah? And it says you can also use till for until. As I said, we have the abbreviation. So the apostrophe. Yep. Wait here till I come back. I think this one is more common than the until. The until is the complete form, so it's a bit more formal. So I think till, it's like, oh, wait for me here till I come back. Short, precise, yeah. What time are you working till? Huh? Also. It's exactly the same. It's exactly the same. And that's another question to say, what time are you working till? I can say until too. Like, what time are you working until? Yeah, you can say that. Okay? Let's compare. Here are more examples. So look at this. Compare. How long will you be gone? Will you be away? Until Monday. So how many days? We don't know. It just says until Monday. Could be from the weekend and then till Monday. When are you coming back? On Monday. So on the day. But here it says, when are you going to be back? Until Monday. Will you be like coming back on the Monday? Maybe. Could be Sunday night, Monday morning, Monday afternoon, right? Not being specific. This is no, on Monday. Okay? Good. Let's see. Since. Now, since is another way, another form of from. Since means the start. But there is a rule. So what is the rule? I must use have. So this is my auxiliary, my tense, if you want. If I use have, then the verb must be in participle. Always. And then I can use since. So the from we can use in present, past, future, whatever. But since must be used. Why? Because in this case here, since means start. So from, start now. And continues until now. So this combination of this and this is what we call the present perfect. This here, you see, Monday, now. So this is a very common mistake. Thank you. Hearts and kisses and stuff. I love it. So this is a very common mistake a lot of people make. Yeah? So let me show you when you say. You used to make this mistake. I live in Sydney since 2023. No, it isn't, because here you're in present. But present perfect is an action that begins in the past, continues until now. So what should I say? So this is wrong. So what should I say? I have. If I use I have, I abbreviate. So here I'm going to say I've. And here, if I'm using I've, participle. So I've lived in Sydney since 2023. That is the correct way. And if I use in this context, I can also change since for from. And that...
So I live in Sydney from 2023. I live.
Because tell me, where are you? Are you in Sydney? Are you still in Sydney? And there!
¿Cómo así? No.
Are you still in Sydney?
Still.
Are you in Sydney?
Yeah, no. Ay, no, me perdí. I live. Yo vivo acá. Si quiero decir desde.
Yes, but you say since 2023. This started in the past, continued until now. So you cannot say I live because I live is all the time. It's repetition, it's routine. I live every day. But here you go, since, so you're talking about the past, and then you're combining with now. This is present perfect. So this, when I live in Sydney, wrong. But so many people, use this.
What about if I say I came to Sydney since?
But I use since.
So you want to say,
Or-
sorry, you want to say, give me a second. You want to say I came to Sydney. So look at this. I came to Sydney, and you want to say 2023. Yep. So what is this? This is a, so what am I going to use? Thank you.
I come to Sydney.
Because it's a year. Correct?
Now it's correct.
And look at that. The verb is in past. It's a finished action. So I came to Sydney in 2023. Yeah?
¿Cómo hago la pregunta de cuánto llevas viviendo acá?
Okay. Good question. You want to ask how long a person has lived. Okay. Can I erase this? Yeah? Okay. So the question you are going to do, so we said, what is the rule? Present perfect. Yes? That's the rule. So, what are you going to say? Now, here, when you're talking about time, always how long? How long?
Be here.
Exactly. I'm not measuring, right? Because I can say, oh, how long? How long is the board? Measurement. But I'm talking about time. So I can also say, how long? Ah, nice. Juver says, I've been living in Sydney. Oh, that's another time. Yeah, it is correct. Yeah, amazing. Yeah. Don't say is correct, say is it correct. Yes, that is present perfect continuous. You're still using the since good. So it's all about actions that started in the past, continue, and we're talking about them now, correct? So when you say, how do I ask this question? You must use, the rule is present perfect. So if have is my auxiliary, yes, then I must say, how long? Because why do I explain how long? I hear a lot of students, how much time? But it's not for this type of question. So you go, how long have you lived, if you want, in Sydney? So you see here, Andre, I'm still looking for my have, my verb in participle. Now, what is the verb in participle? Let's see. I'm thinking list of verbs. No, that's numbers. Do you have your list of verbs? Somewhere? List of verbs? Oh my God. Shannon. Oh, here you go. Yeah. Sorry, no. Okay, look. Okay. So Shed has here her list of verbs. Yeah? So we have, correct? First column, second, and third column. So the third column are your verbs in participle. Okay, so I don't know in Arabic or in Nepalese, but all the verbs ending ado, edo, ido. So when you say been, this is estado. When you say lived, vivido, correct? Yeah. So it's like have plus, so have is not I have a book. Have is the time, the tense we use together with, the third column verbs. Okay? So if any of you guys want a list of the verbs, just type your email and I'll send you a copy. Okay? Good. So, and that is why I said to you, when you use since, okay, it is intermediate level. It is not pre-inter. Now, look, Juver gave me an example here. Let me show you. I want to show you because it's a very, very good example.
So when since come, so we have to use have always.
Always.
In answering.
Question?
Answering.
Yes.
I have lived or.
And look, before I see Juva's example, let me show you a question with since. Can I ask a question with since? Absolutely. So look, this same question, yes? I can ask in the same way. So the question is, can prepositions be at the beginning of the phrase? Absolutely. So what about if I say this? So instead of how long is a bit more formal. How long is, let's say how long is a bit more formal, and how long I would say is probably more common. As I said to you, a lot of people don't know how to structure the questions with prepositions in the beginning. So, or at the beginning, sorry. So, since when have you lived in Sydney is exactly the same as the previous question. How long have you lived? But I'm using the preposition. Instead of how long, I go since when. So it's like from when. And I could also say that too, you know. I could say from when. I could say that too. Good? Okay. Now, I really want to see this example so you can see. Look, I think, as I mentioned, I'll be looking at probably past tense, present perfect, maybe in 2 or 3 weeks. Okay. There are some, like 2 or 3 things I want to see before.
Weeks?
Yeah.
The next week, what you?
Oh, next week I would like to, obviously finish prepositions, and then I want to do comparative and superlatives, which are super important. Okay, and then I'll start going into past tense and that. Okay, start pushing intermediate level. Yeah. So here the example they've written on the computer is the following. I've been living in Sydney since 2022. Oh, sorry, not a question. So look at this. This is what we call present perfect continuous. And look at the structure. I have the have. I'm using been. This is my verb, by the way. This is my verb, my action. This is the verb to be. Again, participle. So been comes from be, was, were, been. So the third column is been. And here, why are we using been? Because they're complementing with ing. We always use the verb to be with verbs in ing. But this is the complement. Okay? So this is the main verb. This is just a complement. Now, the present perfect continuous is not intermediate. It is upper intermediate. No, you can't say that. No, Juva, you can't say that. So here, when Juva says, I've been living in Sydney since 2022. Now, why is this upper intermediate? It is a very good sentence because here he's saying the action started in 2022, continued until now, and with the living, I know it will continue in the future. If he says, I've lived in Sydney since 2022, I go, okay, lived until now, but do I know if he will continue living in the future? I don't know. But here, I've been living, so until now, and most probably will continue in the future. So this is upper. It's very good. Present perfect continuous. And why is it upper? Because he is using a have, one structure, and then he is complementing, expanding the sentence with the present continuous, or with the continuous, sorry. So he's using two times together, expanding that idea. So good job. Now, he shows me another example, which I want to show you. Do you want to copy that? Yeah? Okay. So I want to show you another one he sent me because he's asking, is it correct? So it says, I've been living, so he's continuing with the present perfect continuous, yes. Sorry. I've been living in Sydney, and he says, by 2 years. Now, this is the next idea we're going to see, okay? So since we said is from the beginning, yes? So here, what do you want to say? He says 2 years. This is a period of time. So no, I cannot use by. Yes, I know you're using by because you're probably translating, yeah? And I'm going to say you're a Spanish speaker because, you know, you're probably going to using this in a Spanish way. So we do not use by. We use for. So always for periods of time, we are going to use for.
I have been living
Okay, see.
for 2 years. Can I do that on Zoom?
No, this is not Zoom. This is YouTube.
That one?
Yeah.
No, just ask us. So
Yeah.
I have to come. Okay. Do you have something?
Yeah, but I'm in class, so you just have to go. When you come back again, you can sign. Okay? Yes. Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
So, for is for the period of time. So in this case here, Juverd, right, he would have to say, I've been living in Sydney for, and that is for your period of time. For 2 years. This is the other way. Now, when you use for, you see, we're also using the present perfect. But for, when you're indicating period of time, you can also, no worries. You can also use in continuous, in past, for all the tenses that you want. The for is just telling me how long. Okay? So let's check it. I'm going to erase this. Yeah? Is okay? So if you don't understand, ask me, because it's a little difficult at the beginning, but once you get it, wow. And this is a very, very good way to demonstrate a higher level of English, because not everybody knows how to do it. So that's what I said to you, like using since and for definitely demonstrates intermediate level, okay? You're not basic anymore or pre-intermediate. So let's have a look at this. And so it says, oh, I said we can also use with from. Okay. So since we said is like from, we can exchange in this context. A time in the past says till now. It started in the past, continued until now. We use since after the present perfect, what I said. Have been, have done. Participles. So we say Joe is in hospital. He has been in hospital since Monday. So this since Monday, from Monday until now. Sue and Dave have been married since 1998. If we say since 1998, so how many years? How long? Until now. So you would say probably 27? No, 27 years. We're in 2025. This is 1998. So they have been married for 27 years. Why do we use the present perfect? Because remember, from the past until now. It has been raining since I arrived. Yes? So it has been raining since I arrived. So from this time. Okay? What happened last week? It was raining every day. So, you know, by what was it, Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday, we're like, oh my God, it's been raining since Thursday, right? Since Wednesday or whatever. Okay? Good. So here you've got since until now, correct? Is now. Present perfect. That is the present perfect. And look, we said compare. We lived in Japan from 2003 to 2010. Question. Can I use since here? No. Why?
Because it's 23.
No, not 23. 2003.
2003.
Yeah.
But 2010.
So why? Okay, almost. Yes, you've got it.
Until now.
It's not until now, right? So the action has already finished. So I can use from to replace since. Yes? But I can't use since to replace from. I can't use since in this context because the action has finished. We lived in Japan until 2010. We lived in Japan to 2010? No, until or till. Remember, we also said we cannot use to in all examples. We have lived in Canada since 2010. Can I use from? Yeah, from 2010 until now. We use for, not since, plus a period of time. 3 days, 10 years, whatever you want. whatever you want. So the for is going to be for a period of time. To say, hey, by the way, I'm traveling. Oh, okay. And so how long are you going to be away? Oh, for 2 weeks. Yeah, no, not for 1 day. Do we say 1 day? For a day. Yes. Okay. And look here, it says Joe has been in hospital for 3 days. How do I also say 3? For a? How do I say 3 days? What's another way? Look, check your notes. What's another way to say 3? Again, a couple. How many is a couple? Come on. How many is a couple? How many? A few. So you see here, when I say Joe has been in hospital for a few days. 3.
For a few days or for a few days?
No, for a few days. Okay? It's good? Yeah, so this is what you were asking me, Chef. This is EAP. Yeah?
EAP? What is EAP?
Oh, English for academic purposes. And so, okay, let's continue. 4. Let's see 4. And so here we go. 4. It says for a period of time. For 3 days, a few days, for 10 years, for 5 minutes, for a long time. Yeah? So when I lived in Chile, yeah, a lot of people used to say, oh, how long have you been in Chile? And I used to say, oof, for a long time. For me, I think anything over 5 years is a long time. You know, when they ask you, oh, how long have you been together? How long have you been married? Oof. It's like, you know, you don't say, oh, 20 years, 30 years. No. When they ask me, teacher, how long have you been teaching? Oh, look at my hair, for a long time. Okay. So here we've got Gary stayed with us for 3 days. Stayed. You see, it's past tense.
Stay.
So it's not like since. You can use for the past. I'm going away for a few days. You can use it for the future. And I'm going away for the weekend, also future. They've been married for 10 years, present perfect. So 4 is just telling you how long. How long? Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I'm going away for 3 days. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. That's how long. But you will say, I'll be back. Or you could say, I'm going away until Monday. So when you go, I'm going away for the weekend, I'm traveling or I'm going away until Monday. So kind of like, oh, Tuesday, I'll be back. Correct. I'm going for a few days. You know, whatever you want. Okay? Good. So, any questions? No? Good. Let's do some exercises then. So, look here. We have Alex, Karen, Claire, and Adam. Let's see. So, Alex, he says, I live in England now. I lived in Canada before. I came to England in 2009. This one, what was her name? Karen. So Karen says, I live in Switzerland now. I lived in France before. I came to Switzerland in 2011. Claire, I work in a hotel now. I worked in a restaurant before. I started work in the hotel in 2012. I'm a journalist now. I was a teacher before. I started work as a journalist in 2008. So let's have a look. When you see this, automatically you look and you go, from to. From to. So Alex lived in Canada from 2001 to 2009. Here, can I use until? Yes, absolutely. Because we said start, finish. So Alex lived until. So you can change in this context. Yeah, you can exchange. Okay, next. Alex, Canada, 2009. So Alex lived in Canada because he's in England now. Until. Good. Yes. Until, or if you want, till 2009. Okay, good. Let's do the next one. So it says, Alex, England, 2009. So Alex has lived, because it's present perfect, in England. What are we going to use? From, but we also have the present perfect. So what else can I use? Since. So I can say since, but yes, Andrea, you can also use from. Remember, it's one or the other, not both. So Alex has lived in England since 2009. Alex has lived in England from 2009. Yes, good job. Next one, Karen, France, 2011. So Karen lived in France, correct? What are we going to say? Until or till. Yes, sounds good. Until or till 2011. Yes? Okay, good. Now, Karen has lived in Switzerland, right? Now, what are we going to say? Since, no sense. Since, yes, since 2011. Good. Here, now, this one's tricky. Look, Claire worked in a restaurant. And what are we going to say? You've got 2 dates. So from, remember, I cannot use since in this context, only from, because we're going to finish it, right? So we go from 2010 to 2012. Excellent. Yes? Super. Okay. Claire, a hotel, 2012. So Claire has worked in a hotel since or from 2012. Yes? Adam, a teacher, 2002, 2008. So Adam was, so you see past tense, was a teacher from 2002 to 2008. And I can also use until. And the last one, Adam has been a journalist. What am I going to say? Since 2008. Amazing. Clear? Yes? Pretty good? Like all things, it's practice at the end of the day, right? Yeah. Good, Chet? Amazing. Okay. So the important thing, you can learn many things, but remember, always try to put them in practice. That's the only way that you're going to be able, correct, to improve your English. And people notice, like people listen and they see, you know. If you start like since and they go, what? Like, wow. You know, somebody who commonly uses from and then goes since is like, oh, wow. You know, really good. Okay. Let's erase. So now it says write sentences using for. So for, period of time. Remember, for we can use for all the tenses. It doesn't matter.
Alex has lived in England
Okay.
from
Okay. So we've got here, Alex lived in Canada for period of time, lived, past tense, in Canada for 8 years. And it goes, Alex has lived in England for how long? So you've got to go back to the original information. So what does it say here about Alex? So it says here, Alex has lived in London since 2009. So if you think about it, Alex has lived in England since 2009 until now. How many years is that? 16 years. Good. Yeah, because since 2009. Karen has what? No. Lived in Switzerland, because she says, I live in Switzerland now. So since when? Since when has she been in Switzerland?
2011.
2011. So until now? For?
No.
No.
Yeah.
Well, 9 is 20 plus 5. Yeah, 14. Yeah, you're right. So for 14 years is correct. Okay, now this one's tricky. Claire worked, so we're talking past tense. Remember, worked. No worked, worked. That's the past tense. So it's past, finished. Yeah? So Claire worked in a restaurant. Yes? So it's finished, ended. So for how long?
Claire works in a restaurant for 15 years.
How long? Wait a minute. So from when until when did she work in the restaurant?
2012.
2012 until now. So from 2012 until now, how many years?
No. Claire said, I worked in a restaurant before. I started work in the hotel in 2012.
So you need to go back. So go to the previous exercise of Claire at the hotel. What did it say about, what did it say about the restaurant? Look at the previous one. So she worked in a restaurant.
Before.
From 2010 to 2012.
She worked in a restaurant. So what number of exercises is that, Shed? Exercise 6? 7. Look at exercise 7. 6. Look at exercise 6 from the previous one. What does it say? No. The one we just did. 6.
I said Claire, a restaurant
Worked in a restaurant from 2010 to 2012. So for how long did she work? She worked in a restaurant for 2 years. And what's the other way I can say 2 years? How do I say 2?
No, tú no puedes ser.
A couple. Right, Shed? Oh my God. Shit, I should be. Oh my God. Okay. Now, next. So, Claire. Is Claire working at the hotel today? Is Claire working at the hotel today? Yes. Now. So, what do we say? Present perfect in the past until now. So, Claire has worked in a hotel. Sorry, I don't want you to think it's one sentence. So, in a hotel for
¿cuántos años? Uy, muchos.
2012 until now. So 8 is 2010 plus 15.
17, no.
I think I'm going to have to teach you guys mathematics.
25 menos 12, pues.
No.
13. 13.
When did she start working in the hotel? 2012. Yes?
2012.
We're in
Now-
2025.
Yeah.
Minus the 12. 13, okay. 13 years. Okay. Good. So she's been working in a hotel for 13 years. Okay, next one. Adam was a teacher. So Adam was a teacher for how long?
Adam was a teacher for
Yeah.
before
For 6 years. Okay, I believe Shaq. And Andrea, Adam has been, because he's a journalist today, so he's been a journalist for how long?
Eh, 17 years.
For 17 years. Good. So you see, you can use for, as I mentioned, for period of time with any tense. It doesn't, yeah. You know, you can even use it like in the future to say, hey, I'm traveling for 2 months. I'm going away for 3 days. I've been sick, you know. We also, well, this is something we will add on in the future, but I can also say, I've been sick. Now, listen to what I'm going to say. I've been sick for the past 2 weeks. For the past 2 weeks. So what am I saying? I have been sick, you know, for 2 weeks. You know, it's the same thing, but from the past. So when I go, I have been sick for the past 2 weeks until now. It's just another way. Okay? So there's never one way in English, correct? There are many different ways we use. Okay, good. Good. Let's continue. And so here it's saying, here are all the sentences. Yeah. We'll just try and make it bigger. Just do it in 2 parts. Okay. So use here, sorry, says use since, for, until, everything we've learned. So Sue and Dave have been married since 1998. What happens if, for example, I'm not married anymore? So instead of saying have been, so the have been says from the past until now, correct? And most probably will continue. But let's say the relationship finished, ended, yeah? So now how it's finished, gone, what do you say? I was married for, you might want to say 10 years, 15 years, whatever, but it is finished. So here, I was tired this morning. I stayed in bed until, since or for? Until. Until. And look, I'm gonna tell you something else. The until, there is also a very informal way that we use up to. So this means the same. I could say, I was tired this morning. I stayed in bed up to 10 o'clock. It's very informal, very casual. Okay? It really isn't used in this context, but people do use it, do say it. Okay, we waited for Sue for, because it's a period of time. And look at that. Look what I taught you before. Half an hour. And how long is half an hour? How long is half an hour? How long? Huh?
Half 15.
What? 30.
Half
So
an hour.
it is 30 minutes. We said that half is half the hour, so it's half an hour. So you see what I mean? Here it says we waited for Sue 4. It doesn't say for 30 minutes. I told you, this is not common for us. We usually say for an hour, for half an hour, for a quarter of an hour, which is 15 minutes, for 3/4 of an hour, 45 minutes. Yeah? So we waited for Sue for half an hour, equivalent to 30 minutes, but she didn't come. Have you just arrived? No. I've been here 7:30. Since. Good. Since, from. Right? I can also use from. Okay, next one. How long did you stay at the party last night?
Until midnight.
Until, or if you want, till midnight. Yep, it's okay. Dan and I are good friends. We have known each other. So together, how long?
We have known each other
4. Yes, that's the period of time. I'm tired. I'm going to lie down. See, a few minutes. 3. A little more than 3. Little time. So, lie down. 4. A few minutes. Again, period of time. Don't open the door of the train. The train stops. Until the train stops. This is my house. I've lived here since, good, I was 7 years old. Jack has gone away. He'll be away. Until Wednesday. Next week, I'm going to Paris. 4. 3 days. Excellent job. Three more? Okay. Copy? Yeah, all done?
I usually.
Okay. Let me just erase. So you see I see a lot of students, for example, they use for every time they write an action, right? So when you guys go, for play, for buy, and I always say no. Remember, Andrea, when you're studying and I go, no for. Before the verb, always to. Before the verb, always to. Every time. So to say, to play, to buy, to get, not for. Because now, look, where do we use for? Period of time. So when you're thinking in Spanish, right? You go for, you write it. No, for actions, no. Always to. Okay? Very common mistake people make. Okay, last ones. Let's see. So I usually finish work at 5:30, but sometimes I work until, good, until 6. How long have you known Anna? Since we were together at school, or since we were at school together. Where have you been? I've been waiting for you 20 minutes. 4. Yes, is correct.
For you, 4? This is one of it. For you, 4?
Yeah, because this one is for you, And for how long? Period of time. It's grammar. If it's grammar, you can repeat as many times as you want and you need. Remember I told you when we were looking at the at, on, in, and I said sometimes that's going to happen. You know, sometimes it's going to be a combination of at, in, or at, on, or on, in, and sometimes it's going to be at. Look at the way I showed you before when we started. To. I traveled to Dubai, to Turkey, to Miami, and then after to Australia. See? So because it's grammar, you cannot change it. It's just the way it is. Like, the rule is the rule. You got to respect it. Okay? Good. Okay, so that's what I had prepared for you guys today. And so, well, at least you guys, I'll see you tomorrow. Yep. So, bye.
¿Cuántos hay ahí?